Hello, everyone, and happy new month to you. This is the month of November. It promises to be an amazing month. Welcome to a new week as well, and I trust that we've been getting value from the SAPA series. This is the fifth, and today we'll be speaking about the levels of value. Now, the series should have ended, say, last week, but then I stumbled on this and I found it very important for each and everyone who wants to understand the levels of value. And the reason why it's important for us to understand the levels of value is just so that you know why you're earning what you're earning. Because the value that you get or the salary that you get or command right now is as a result of the value that you give. It means that whoever it is that you're working for or the business, if you're running a business, it means that the clients that you're serving, this is what they're able to pay you. This is what they think you are worth. And if you're working for somebody as well, it means that this is the level of problem solving or critical thinking or decision making that you can give. And so they have somebody talking to an amount for the salary, and that's what they give to you. And at the end of the year, they give you 13 months. And afterwards, they give you something called a bonus. So it means that if you want more money, if you want to earn more, if you want to um, demand more value, then it means that you need to do much more than what you're currently doing. So on the levels of value, I'm going to be sharing with us the four different kinds of value so that you find out where you are operating and then also find out where you need to level up, how you need to step up so that you command more. And then we'll have a case as well, and then we'll call it a wrap. I trust that you get value from our conversations today. So welcome to SAPA 5.0, severe absence of purchasing ability. The levels of value. So let's go right into it. So I'll be guided by this outline as the network is blessed. So first we're going to talk about what is value. What is value? Next, we'll talk about the four levels of value. We'll take a case study and then we'll have our Q&A. So what then is value? I mean, I wish I could ask for us, but for the brevity of time, what is value? Value is something that is important. Value is something that you place um, usefulness on, something that is worth something to you. That is what value is. And the thing is, value can differ from person to person. I might see something and I'm like, this is not valuable. And someone else will see it and the person will say, this is valuable. And there are some things that are universally acceptable by each and every one of us as value. One of it being money, whatever kind of money, whatever currency, cryptocurrency, pounds, dollars, across geographies, there are things that we agree as value. So we might be going on the streets and I see a certain kind of rock. And because I'm not a geologist or I'm not a goldsmith or a blacksmith, I will just pass it. And then a geologist or a goldsmith or a blacksmith will pass along and see this and say, oh, this is a unique piece. This is a stone. This is gold. Because we know that gold in its raw state doesn't look like gold, right? You need to go through a process of refinement for you to say, oh, so yeah, this is gold. So that's why I'm just trying to let us know that what is valuable to one person might not be valuable to another, but there are things that we all generally agree that are valuable or useful. And it's same thing to a person. That's why when we, like I always said, whenever you see a vacancy, when an organization is saying vacancy, a vacancy is a cry for help. So it means that the organization is reaching out to the public to say, we need help in this area. Who can help us? And then you come forward as applicants with your CV and they look at the value that you say that you can bring. They look at your CV to say, oh, we say we want an accountant. This person studied accounting, but this person is not a chartered accountant. Person hasn't gone through ICAM program. This is not the kind of person that we need. This is the kind of person we need. Person that has all of this. They give that job description showing the value that you bring, right? And sometimes you get the job because you can give the value. Sometimes you don't get the job because you don't have enough value or you're not as competitive as required. So that's just what value is, something of what importance and needs for usefulness. So now coming into the 4 levels of value that I have identified, level 1, as you can see the image here, is showing a muscle, is showing strength, is showing power, is showing energy. I don't know, whatever word you want to, use in describing, showing the arm of a man, And I titled this implementation, speaking to muscle power. So there are 4 levels of value, and each and every one of us in the world, we are playing on one of these levels. And the lowest form of value is in implementation. Now, what do I mean by implementation? Implementation are the runners. They're like the people who carry out things you are to implement. So instruction comes from above, things to execute are shared with you, and all you just have to do is, my boss says I should do this, I need to do this, I need to do that, all of these. So you're just running the errands. You're not the one making the decision. You are receiving the decision, right? You are receiving the instruction. You are receiving actions to carry out. You are receiving, basically, is what they tell you to do that you're doing. And you can liken this to, for example, say a housing project. You know that when you go to a site, you see the laborers, you see the foremen, you see them, carrying concrete, mixing sand, you see the women fetching water, carrying concrete, just doing one thing or the other. What are they doing? They are the implementation phase. They are doing all of that with energy. At this stage, what you require is energy, muscle power. You will not tell a bricklayer you need to apply your intellect per se. What they really, really need is the energy. Do you have the energy? Do you have the strength, the capacity to carry those pans, to carry sand, to carry cement, all of that? Implementation, muscle power. And for every career, implementation usually has to do with the entry level. So there are some stages that you cannot skip. So don't say, oh, so really, am I that less valued and all of that? No, there are some stages you cannot skip. Sometimes you have to go through every of these phases. Each and every one of us will always have to go through this phase at one point or the other, whether you're a business person, whether you're a career person. If you're a career person, of course, you go through the entry level. If you're a business person, when you're starting your business, you cannot hire staff yet. So you're still the one who will do deliveries, running up and down, doing customer service, speaking calls, placing orders, all of these things. You still have to do it. And it's important for you to know that when you also look at the salary scale or the value that comes to people who carry out implementation, it is good, but it's not as good is. There's something to aspire to. There's always more that you can reach out to. For example, if you're the banking industry, you know entry level, you know what entry level salary is, you know what the next level is, you know what the next level is. So you're always looking forward to the next level. But the best way to grow is when you know that you have given to the stage, to the implementation stage, what is required of it. You know that you're very good at it, you are hands-on, you're great at what you do, you can put somebody through. And once you have mastered or you have done well at this implementation stage that has to do with maybe muscle power or running errands, because you're in banking, of course, you're not doing the bricklayer work where you're carrying pan and all of that, but you're taking instructions. When they say do this, you're carrying out all of those instructions. Oh, open this account, open this form, do photocopy, do all of this. It might look like they are mundane, but they still add up to the total goal. And so after implementation, you want to move to the stage of unification. This is the stage of the management stage. Now, what do I mean by unification? So after you have done implementation for a while, you get promoted or you get a raise where you now have to start managing other people. New people are brought into the team and you have to start managing them. You need to look for ways to manage human and physical resources. You want to look at people and say, oh, this person is good at this person is good at that, this person has strength in this area. I think that together as a team, just like the image shows, together we can achieve this, together we can do this. this skill is very crucial and very important for each and every one of us, because whether you like it or not, you're a leader. And first, you're a leader of yourself, because you're leading yourself first before you can lead others. So if you lead yourself astray, it means that you're going to lead other people. And the thing is, leadership can be learned, right? So I know that there are theories of leadership where they say leaders are born or are leaders made or all of that. Either way, leadership can be learned. And it's important that you hone your skill, because besides just having a career, you have a personal life where you're going to have a family. For those who want to have a family, you have to lead your family, you have to lead your kids, you have to lead your siblings. Some people have been fortunate. They're like the first of 8 children, so they have been leading from way back. So they're very good at it. They know how to be very assertive, they know how to communicate, they know how to do, a bunch of things. So you know that if you start from phase of implementation, you'll be earning a certain kind of salary. But then when you now move up to the stage of unification, you're going to earn higher, because now you're not just leading yourself or managing things within your purview. Your scope of work has been expanded. You are now a team lead, or you're now a manager or an assistant manager, overseeing 2, 3, 4 people, giving instructions. At the implementation stage, you're receiving instructions, but now a certain level of authority and power has been delegated to you, and now you're not the ones giving instruction, telling people what to do, how to go about it, because you have been a great implementer. So a unifier is the one in charge of the implementer. So at this stage, what you need to improve on is your management skill. And don't forget that this series is SAPA series, and it's important for you to have this management skill, because it will help you to earn more. We're talking about how you can make more money, how you can be above being broke. That's the reason why we're having all of these conversations that we're having. Welcome, Joshua. Kindly mute your mic. Thank you. And then the next is communication. I wasn't sure what to label it. That's why I called it mouth management. I wasn't sure how to really speak about this. But at this stage, beyond it's one of the skills that you're also going to require at every level. Communication is very important at every level, whether as an implementation person or by Joshua, mute your mic, please. So whether as an implementation person or a unification person, the next stage is communication. Now, at this stage, your communication is now heightened. I don't want to say it's hyper, but your communication is on another level. At the other stage of implementation, you were giving feedback, right? On the unification stage, you were giving instructions to people to say, this is what you should do, this is how you should do it, this is how you should go about this. But in this communication or mouse management stage, this is the phase where we say maybe you are a C-suite kind of person. Now, at the C-suite, you're not just speaking to some set of stakeholders, you are speaking to a wider audience. So as a unifier, maybe you're only speaking to people beneath you and then people on your level. Maybe you don't get to speak to the board or all of that, maybe just your line manager. But at this stage of communication, you are now higher. You're not just an assistant manager or just a team lead. You might be a group head, you might be a divisional head. Samuel, can you mute your mic? Thank you. Welcome. It might be a divisional head, and there's a need for you to, communicate what your division is doing. So the reason why I'm using division is because of the understanding of banking. Under a division, you can have so many subgroups. Under a group, you have so many teams. So that's why I'm trying to use this illustration, just so that you get it. So this time you're communicating to a lot of stakeholders. So you're having upward communication, lateral communication, communication beneath. You even be a mentor. You're already doing appraisals. Like, people's destinies are like in your hands, literally. So it's very important that you know how to communicate. There's also something called executive communication. There's something called executive presence. And you know that communication is beyond just words as well. In communication, writing is very important. Speaking is very important. Even your mannerism, your carriage, everything is communicating. So you know how they say life and death is the power of the tongue. At this point, you're a decision maker where you can make or mar things. So it's very important that you understand mouth management. At this point, your words are not just words. Your words hold a lot of power. Your words can create things, right? And so at this point, you're going to be earning higher. But then this is a good place to be, but this is not a good place to relax because there's another higher realm, which is the fourth realm. And like we said, value would always respond to value. So if salary or ink or making money, sales, profit, revenue is what is big to you, you should always be looking at, so at what part am I playing in? If you run a business and you have been doing implementation so long, it just simply means that you don't have systems and structure in your business, because there are some things that you shouldn't be doing. If you say you run a business where you're selling things, after a while, you should be able to hire one person who will be a utility staff that can be picking those calls, picking those orders, handling the logistics, while you're able to move on to other things like, okay, unification. How can I expand? How can I get more people to support me in this business? And how can I pay for them? How can I pay for their contribution to this business? How do I communicate? Because getting somebody to come and work for you has to do with a level of convincing and telling them about your vision. You're telling them, also, this is my organization. This is where we're headed in the next 5 years. These are the things that I think that we can do. You're communicating it to them. Some people have a lot, but they cannot communicate. And if you cannot communicate or express yourself, then you really cannot get the best. I read somewhere that some of the most powerful people in the world are people that can speak and people that can write. So you cannot say is this or that. No, you have to find a way to improve this and that. Like, I know that even if you're not so good in that area, you can hire people who will complement you. But when you are not able to pay people who can complement you, what do? You have to find a way to hone that skill and always go for training. So the ultimate level that I think that each and every one of us should aspire to is the level of imagination, is the level of mind management. This is the level where we always see CEOs, business owners, visionaries, entrepreneurs, people who start things, innovators or inventors, people who don't like to leave things the way they are, people who want to make a difference, they want to make a mark, they want to change the status quo. And the truth is, you can start as an implementer in an organization and work your way to the top. I'm sure we saw the story of, I forget what his name is now, but the new CEO of Nike. If you look at his LinkedIn profile, you will see how he grew through with the company 22 years. Like, that song where they say we started from the bottom, now we are up. Now, his life work trajectory shows how you start as an implementer, you move to a unifier, you move to communications, and then you're going to be involved in imagination. Because at this time, you're not just thinking of, oh, my JD, or now you are as good as the organization. You're the CEO, you're the chief marketing officer, you're the one who everybody is seeing. Like, leadership, everything rises and falls on leadership. So everything rises and falls on you. So it means that your mind needs to be working well. Your mind needs to be in shape. He has to come up with products, services, innovations, ideas. Even if he doesn't come up with it, he has to create an enabling environment and atmosphere that spurs and inspires everybody or anybody that works in that organization to come up with goods and services that can take the company forward. So being a CEO is not just because they not see anybody to put there, or there's a lot that rests on your shoulder. Yeah, now you can see that when the implementation guys are complaining about things, that you have been there before. So you're like, I'm not sure I'm getting, there are sometimes when these young people want to tell these elderly people that, oh no, things have changed in your time. Of course, we know that things have changed, but there are some things that are still cast in stone. There are some things that are set. So yes, the ways of doing things might have changed. The way of cooking might have changed, but cooking is still cooking, right? So all of these things at this level, and that's why CEOs don't earn small. When we hear what their bonus is, I'm sure we saw I don't know if you saw the news, but Satya Nadella talked about how his salary increased. So now he earns, I forget what the percentage is, but now he earns $79.1 million annually. One man, one person. But he has to lead Microsoft. Like, is a big deal. So you're seeing Microsoft maybe turn out new products, new innovations, all of that. It's because one person is using the power of imagination. He's using the power of his mind to steer an organization. So I want to put it forward to you that if you don't like what you're earning, or if you don't like how much income you are getting or you're commanding, it's because you have not yet started working at a certain kind of level. And if you are working at that level already and you're not getting what is due to you, then it means that you're not pricing yourself well, or you're serving the wrong audience. Maybe some of the time we'll have a class on, products, creating a product and, pricing your products appropriately. Because some people don't even know how to price their products appropriately. But it's just very important that you understand where you are. Are you on the implementation phase? Are you on the unification phase? Are you on the communication phase? Are you at the imagination phase? And the thing is, at some point or the other, there are some jobs that gives us the opportunity to, sort of find a mix of both. And there are some where you just have to, depending on the industry as well and the sector, you're just stuck on what they say you should do, what you have to do. And some gives you the opportunity to be flexible and practice across the board. So now, I was thinking of a case study to share with us, and this was what came to mind, and I'll be happy to share using the illustration of a tree. So each and every one of us, I'm sure that we can see a tree. I don't know if you can see differently, but what I see is a tree. And based on the level where each and every one of us functions, based on the level of value, when you look at something, it determines what you see or how you see. It sort of shapes your perception and your perspective, right? So I'm seeing a tree. If we call an implementer, let's say it's an organization now, and we call an implementer, because we say implementation has to do with muscle power. Once an implementer sees this, the first thing that will come to the implementer's mind is, oh, how can we cut this tree? Okay, I've sharpened my axe, I've sharpened my chainsaw, we can cut this tree. The implementer is just about, let's go and cut this tree. And then the unifier would talk about, yes, we need to cut this tree, but you alone cannot cut this tree. We need 3 men to cut this tree. We don't just need 3 men who can use axe. I want a man that can use an axe. I want a man that can use a chainsaw. I want a man who knows how to use maybe a bulldozer. I want a man who knows how to, drive a bulldozer, something. But that is what a unifier will be thinking about. How can I harmonize human and material resources to ensure that we cut this tree? So when he gathers all of this, he gives them instructions to say, okay, you can go ahead and cut the tree, and then the implementer cuts the tree. But back there also in the office, there would be a senior management or something who is saying, we have received information from the owner of the organization. So the CEO now will come and cast a vision to say, so this is the imagination part. The CEO, because somebody definitely talked about it, that when the person sees a tree, because honestly, I don't even know how this people think about these solutions. When the person sees a tree, the person says, tissue paper can come out of this tree. Exercise book can come out of this tree. Writing materials can come out of this tree. Somebody conceived it, the imaginative person, the head of the organization. And then he sends this imagination to the senior management, who then communicates it to the unifiers, who now communicate to the implementation. So you can see that eventually when the materials or the things that we can get from this tree come out, so book, tissue paper, I know we have different kind of tissue papers nowadays, we have different kind of writing material, different kind of writing pad as well. You have A4 paper, you have Concord paper, you have paper that they use for certificates. You get all of these products from just this tree. The implementer is just thinking about cutting the tree. Unifier is thinking about, oh, what material are we going to cut the tree? The communications person is talking about, how do I send this message to the right person so that they know the type of tree that we are cutting? It's not just anyhow kind of tree. They describe the kind of tree. Or we want an oak tree, or we want a timber tree, or we want trees specifically planted in this kind of city that is of this kind of maturity that looks this way. Communicate all of that. And what the person is communicating is something that has come from the head. And the head most likely has also gone through all the phases of being an implementer, a unifier, a communications person, and then has moved on to become an imaginative person and then shares the vision. So when all of these products come and they sell these products, goods and services to different companies, the money's coming. The person who gets a chunk of it is the person who imagined it. What will the implementer get? Even though it looks like they expended a lot of energy, swinging the axe, cutting this, sweating, wearing singlets, or whatever it is that they had to, make that implementation work. What would they still get? They would get value, but value that has been, calculated to be commensurate to what they did. That's why we see all of these bricklayers. I don't think I can carry 2 bags of cement. I think that will be the end of my day. But there's somebody that will carry 30 bags of cement and they're doing it joyfully and happily. Men, we appreciate them because everybody cannot be an imaginative person. Everybody can be, but not everybody will be. And that's sorry about that network. I was just gonna share my screen again. But I hope that we get all that I've been saying so far with the analogy of the tree. So you need to ask yourself, what level of value am I giving or contributing to my organization? And like I've said times without number, promotion doesn't come because you have spent a long time on a position. You say, oh, I've been working here for 4 years, I've been on this level for 4 years. Promotion does not come because you have spent 4 years. Promotion comes because you have shown that you have the capacity to do the job of the next staff, of the next level. So even when you're not a manager, you're able to harness, influence the people around you to say, guys, let's do this task. I know that we can do it. You just find a way to galvanize resources to achieve something. And you're like, that guy is a manager material, right? And that's how promotion comes. Ideally, that's how it should be, not where they promote you because they know you and all of that, even though that plays out sometimes. So summarily, this is just a picture that, sort of shows 3 people that we've spoken about. We can see the lady there. We can see 2 guys. So I just want to assign positions to them to say the CEO of the organization is there because he would have possibly communicated to the guy with the yellow tie to say, that is our target. That is the point where we're headed. That is what we want to do. And then you have the unifier there who is saying, okay, I got my pen and my paper. These are the people we need. So assuming that the people are the things in X, these are the people that we're going to need. And then the lady is saying, okay, so where do we start from? And this is the starting point. So summarily, this picture, I felt like it just communicated all of the levels of value and where we can play. So I don't know if you have any questions or come to the end of the class for today. I hope we got value. Thank you for joining, to each and everyone who has joined us. If you're also joining just now, I hope you got value and this is your first time. Thank you. We appreciate you. So if you have any questions or we get any clarifications or we have contributions, I'm happy to hear that. Please let me know. With this, I can say thank you for coming to today's class.